My name is Daniel Wynn, and by day I invest in sports cards, but by night I make videos about investing in sports cards. I am the great curator. Join me on my journey to break even in the hobby that we all love. Hello everyone, I'm the great curator and welcome to my channel. If you're new here and this is the first time you're viewing these videos, thank you for stopping by, I appreciate it. The purpose of these videos, I always say in my intros, is basically for educational purposes. I make these videos as a creative way to kind of rant and give my opinion about certain issues in the hobby. So these videos are intended for people who are just trying to get into the hobby or trying to learn and level up their skills a little bit. So hopefully you guys find this useful. If you do, please hit the like and subscribe button. That helps encourage me to continue to make these videos. And I'm kind of new at this still, so I'm getting a lot of feedback from you guys, but the more videos that I do, the more I will hopefully improve the quality of this content. So hopefully you guys can enjoy that. And again, really the sole purpose, guys, the reason I make these videos is basically to help educate the community as much as I can, because I just want to grow the hobby. Okay, I just want to help people out there. So hopefully you guys find this video useful. Okay, so this video is going to be a continuation of a series of videos I'm making about how to, what I call sports card investing. This series is going to be sports card investing 201. Okay, the first couple videos I made that's the 101 videos, where that's just to give you a basic foundation, a level of understanding so that you know what you're getting yourself into. This series of videos is going to be a continuation of that, but basically telling you guys how to interact and how to get really deep into the hobby, okay? So this specific video is going to talk about a buyer and seller etiquette at card shows, all right? A big part of this hobby is once you do your research and you get off of eBay, a big part of this is going to card shows and interacting with people. And when you're at card shows, it's a whole different situation, a whole different environment. It's going to be overwhelming for you at first, but if you follow these simple basic rules of card show etiquette, buyer-seller etiquette, then you guys will put yourself in a position where you can have some really positive conversations and really positive interactions with people, which will lead to good deals with you, okay? The reason I wanted to make this is I see a lot of people, they just don't act civil at card shows, you know? Like people need to learn some manners, people need to learn some basic etiquette at card shows. We need to put some emphasis on this, guys. This is going to be my little rant about this. We need to put some emphasis in bringing some civility back to the hobby, okay? We don't want to be just a bunch of cardboard crazy monkeys walking around a gym trading cards. We need to act properly, okay? We need to be like gentlemen investors, ladies investors. You know what I mean? Bring civility back to the hobby. That's what I say, okay? Elevate this level of hobby so that people, when they hear that we're spending thousands of dollars on a card, they don't roll their eyes, okay? Let people look at this hobby as a legitimate alternative investment where people put their money in here and it's just not a bunch of kids acting around, acting stupid or anything like that, okay? So again, let's bring some civility back into the hobby and let's start it with this video. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is I'll address the buyer side of it. All right, buyer etiquette at card shows. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, I'll break it into two sections. Number one is when you approach a table, and then number two is when you negotiate a deal. Okay, so let's just talk about what a buyer should be doing when they're approaching a table at a card show. Okay, first thing that you want to do is if you go up to the table and you make eye contact with the dealer, say hello. All right. Sounds simple, right? But how many times do you see at card shows, or how many times have you done this, or you've been in the presence of somebody doing this, where they'll walk up to the table and maybe they make eye contact, maybe they don't, but then they just look at the case and they're looking at this, right? And as you guys are watching me do this, imagine you're the seller, you're the dealer, the vendor, and you're looking at somebody's head like this. It's awkward. Okay, especially if you're the only person there and there's nobody else there at the table and the dealer's just like sitting there. It's awkward to look at somebody's head like this, okay? So just be nice. Just say hello, and then you can look down, okay? Just acknowledge them. Say hello, how's it going? Have a nice day, whatever. And then you can look down at the table, okay? But just be nice, say hello, okay? It doesn't require a lot of effort, all right? Same thing when you leave the table. If you don't do a transaction, just say see you later, say have a good show, say goodbye, thank you, whatever. It opens the door for you to come back and circle back if there's a card there you like. But if you don't talk to the dealer, if you're just kind of looking over, especially if you're actually standing at their table, if you're walking by, don't worry about it. If the dealer is engaged in conversation, don't worry about it. But if you're the only one there and you don't say anything and you walk back, don't expect to get friendly treatment when you come back, if you do come back, okay? So first rule is say hello, say hello, basically, okay? That's the first rule. Second rule is if you're going there to take pictures for content, whatever, YouTube videos, if you're gonna take a picture of a guy's cards, it's nice if you ask permission, okay? Especially if you're the only one there, you just take a picture. If there's a lot of people, don't worry about it. But if you're the only one there, it's nice. It's a courtesy to ask if you can take pictures. Some people are weird about that. I mean, personally, I don't care very much as long as you tag me on Instagram. I don't care if you're taking pictures of my stuff, but some people are very weird about that. So just be cool about it. If you're filming and you get them on camera, you definitely should ask their permission, because a lot of people don't want to be filmed, don't want to be on camera, okay? If you're taking pictures of cards, just try to ask permission. It's a nice thing to do. And if you do take pics and post it on Instagram, whatever, it's good to tag those people, okay? Next rule is if you see a deal happening, if the dealer and somebody else is in the middle of working a deal, do not jump in on that deal. You let that deal play out. Do not look at a card and be like, hey, I'll pay you more for that. Or, hey, can I get in on this? Don't do that. Not cool, guys. Okay? Let the deal play out. Let them finish. And then if you want to do a deal with that person, you can take them to the side and talk about it. Do not do a deal in front of their case. That's also disrespectful. That's their space. So you don't want to be infringing on their area. Step to the side if you're going to do a deal. Or wait till the deal plays out, and then you can make a play on it yourself, okay? But do not jump in people's deals. That's very rude, all right? And then last rule that I want to emphasize, which I think is the most important rule, is, how do I put this in the nicest way? Do not lean on people's cases, okay? Guys, I have so many problems with this. There have been people who have broken my cases in the last couple months because they lean their crap on the table. They either lean their big case or they put their hands and lean down. Understand, guys, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. It's a glass case. It's a glass or it's a thin plastic case over the cards. And if you put pressure on it, it will crack. It will break. So don't do that. Be cool about it, okay? You know, it's just like people are so careless, so absent-minded sometimes when they'll put like really heavy object, or they'll physically lean on a fragile piece of glass or case, and then it'll crack and it breaks. And then what are you going to do after that? Say sorry? Are you going to buy the person a new case or something like that? You know? So just be mindful, be aware, treat it as if it's your own. If you want to put it down to show them something, ask permission. Can I lean it here? The dealer will tell you where to lean the case. They know how strong their case is. They know what type of weight can be on it, but ask permission if you're going to do that, and don't do it automatically, okay? Don't assume that these little flimsy cases that we bring to these shows can support any amount of pressure on them, okay? So again, if you take anything away from this video, do not lean on people's cases. Do not lean on people's glasses. Do not lean on anything, okay? Unless they say it's okay, all right? So that's the the basic etiquette that you should have when you're approaching a table. Now let's just quickly talk about the basic etiquette that you should have when you're trying to negotiate a deal, okay? As a buyer, when you're approaching and you're trying to negotiate a deal with a seller, okay, here's a couple rules to follow. If you follow these rules, you'll have a better negotiations and you'll be less likely to offend the seller, okay? Number one is understand that it's okay to negotiate a deal. You know, no price is firm, right? Everything's up to negotiation, but just make sure that you do it in a respectful way. Do not lowball the seller. If there's a card, and unless it's grossly overpriced, don't offer half for it. That's a sure way to piss somebody off. Most sellers kind of price where they need to be, or they price, even if they're above comps, they price the card where they need to be, okay? So just don't go in there and say, if the card is $500, don't say $250. I mean, you're probably not going to go anywhere, okay? So just be respectful of that, okay? if you don't want to make a lower offer than the price tag, then just ask them if they're flexible, ask them if they have any room on the card, or ask them if they're open to offers. Then you can throw out whatever number you want and let the conversation go from there, but just don't go in there straight lowballing them at half the price. All right. Number 2 is don't expect the sellers to sell at comps. They will price the card at whatever they want it to be. Sometimes it's at comps if they want to be competitive. Sometimes it's higher if they have a high cost basis on it, but it's their choice. Do not go in there walking into somebody's table and say, well, I want to get this at the comp price. They don't have to sell it. They can sell it for whatever they want. Understand that, guys, okay? That's their card. They can choose to sell it. Just like you guys can choose to buy it at whatever price you want, they can choose to list it at any price they want, okay? Do not pull up eBay comps and say, oh, this is where it's sold. You have to sell it to me for this price, okay? You're gonna get laughed at. If you come to my table and you try to make that argument with me, I'm gonna laugh at you, okay? And then I'm gonna have to educate you about how to, have proper etiquette in front of a person. The seller can sell a card for whatever they want. A buyer can buy the card at whatever they want, and there's negotiation in between. Okay, but don't pull out the eBay comps and say that they need to sell it at this price, especially if the eBay comps are recent, like the same day or anything like that. It's just not reasonable to ask a person to do something like that. Okay. Next thing on my list is don't get mad if they don't change the price. Okay, so same thing, like don't expect them to sell at eBay comps if they're off from that, and don't get mad if they change it. Okay, because they have a different cost basis, and most of the time it's very hard to keep up with comp prices. Okay, so understand that. And then last thing I want to say is that if you do leave the table, it's good to exchange contact information, exchange Instagram accounts. This is a community. This is all about getting to know people, building relationships. So if you can exchange contact information, that's a good way to circle back to the table later. Maybe you don't get a deal done there, but you can come back later on. Okay, so that's my basic etiquette rules for on the buyer side. Okay, now let's talk about the seller side. From the seller side, when a buyer approaches the table, again, try to have a conversation with them. All right. If you see them and they make eye contact with you, say hello. Ask them how's it going? How's the show doing? If they're looking around, ask them if you can help them find something. But just try to engage them in conversation, and then see where it goes from there. Be approachable. Basically, you don't want if the buyer comes to you and they see that you're not really approachable, you're standoffish, they're less likely to do a deal with you because they don't want to. Maybe they think you're in a bad mood or something like that. Okay. So again, just try to engage them in conversation, or just at least simply say hello. All right. Next is don't eat at your table. All right. I know sometimes when we do these shows, we sit at the table for hours and hours and we don't have a chance to step away to get lunch or whatever. And sometimes people bring their own food, which is fine. But if you're going to eat at your table, step back at least. Okay. Stand up, step back, turn your back, step to the side, but don't sit there and use your table as a dinner table and eat there. It's very off-putting, guys. People don't want to see your styrofoam box of food or your hamburger or whatever on the table while they're trying to look at cards. It's just not a good way to do business. All right. If you're going to eat, step back or step away from the table. All right. Next is I always recommend that you stand up. When somebody approaches your table, you stand up, you look at them eye to eye. That way you can have a good conversation with them. I think it's a good way to kind of interact with people. It's a lot better than just kind of sitting and looking at people and having a conversation where you have to look up at them. Or if you're looking at something else and you're talking and they can't make eye contact with you, that's not a good way to make any type of sale. So I always recommend stand up and have a face-to-face conversation with them eye to eye. Okay. Next thing on my list here is do not fall asleep at your table. Okay, I know you guys are probably thinking I'm joking about this, but this happens a lot, especially with older people, and especially if they get no traffic at their table, they'll fall asleep. And if you're, I'm telling you guys to have conversations with people when they walk up to your table, but if you're falling asleep, forget it. Don't even expect anybody to come to your table. That's so off-putting to me. Okay, if you're falling asleep, go home. Okay, drink coffee, go home, pack up, whatever, but don't sit there and sleep at your table and think that's okay. All right. Next time you see somebody like that, wake them up, and tell them, let the poor person go home if they're that tired. Okay, but please be alert. Do not sleep at your table. Okay. Now let's talk about seller etiquette when they're negotiating a deal, okay? Number one, you want to understand is it's okay for buyers to check comps. Don't get mad at them if they ask you the price and then they pull out their phone and start double checking. That's them doing their research. There's nothing wrong with that, guys, okay? You do the same thing. If they're trying to do a deal with you, you pull out the phone and look at the comps. So understand that people are going to pull out comps. Don't get mad at them, all right? Next is it's okay for people to make offers also. If you have a price on a card, even if you're firm, it's okay for people to make offers on your cards. You know, everything's up to negotiation. This is a secondary market, so they can offer whatever they want. All right, so just don't get mad at them if they offer, you know, some price that's not what you have on the list price. Okay, and then lastly, don't be upset if you don't make a deal. Don't shake your head. This guy wastes my time. Oh, this guy, you know, is not serious or whatever. Don't be mad, guys. You know, if the price is not right for them, then they're not going to buy it, and they have the right to walk away, just like you have the right to not sell it at the price that you don't want to sell it for. All right. This is a market where we interact with people all the time to do these transactions. So sometimes it's not going to work out. Don't get mad at them just because you didn't make a sale. Okay. This is just part of the process. Move on to the next one, and you know, you can make the sale at that time. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I tried to speed through this video as quickly as I could, but basically that's the basic rules that I believe everybody should understand in terms of buyer-seller etiquette at card shows, buyer-seller etiquette when you're negotiating at a table, okay? Follow these rules, guys. If you do, you will have smoother transactions. You will have better chances at coming to deals where you have a mutual respect for each other. If you go in there and you start off on the wrong foot, don't expect them to cut you any breaks or give you any deals. All right, we have to bring up our game in terms of bringing a level of civility to the hobby. We want people to take us more seriously, so we have to show proper etiquette when we deal with people. Don't treat it so transactional where it's all about numbers, all about making a profit, things like that. Understand that this is a community. If you do a deal with somebody, you're probably going to do a deal with them again in the future. It's a small community. We all know each other, so we all have to be cool with each other. We all have to be polite with each other. Be nice, be polite, be respectful, and you guys will do all right, okay? So that's my rant for today in this video. If you enjoyed it, if you got any value from this, please like, please subscribe, please share. I'm trying really hard to grow this channel. I'm investing more money in better cameras, better tools. I'm trying to learn how to edit videos. So please, guys, this really encourages me when I see those view counts, when I see the likes, when I see the subscriptions. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. I'd love feedback. I read everything and I try to respond to everything I can. If you want to find me on Instagram, send me a DM at The Great Curator. I'm on Instagram. I'm always willing to chat with people about cards, no problem. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I love to help people. I love to have conversations and try to give my opinions about things. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me that way. And that's it. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.